Hey, what's up, brothers, sisters? How you doing? So I'm in Arizona right now. I'm at the hotel. So I just started. I want to go ahead and continue to finish this series of dealing with God's view on being gay. What's God's view about it? And we're gonna see that today. If we haven't seen that so far, we're gonna see that today. So welcome to part 4 of God's view on being gay. So we discussed a lot of things so far. We talked about y'all might see my shirt. It say hustle. See, I got the hat on that says hustle. And it once upon a time you see somebody wearing something that say hustle, you think he's a drug dealer or he's a hustler in the streets. But hustle ain't just doing stuff illegal. Hustle is also doing legal things, and that's exactly what I do. I'm a car hauler, man, and I'm a hustler when it comes to getting them cars and getting them cars from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast. I'm a hustler, man. I go get those cars, put them on the truck, and drive all the way to the East Coast because that's what pay the bills. Anyway, so I just didn't want nobody to look at that and think I was promoting anything negative because I don't do that. I don't do nothing negative. I don't do nothing illegal. I ain't trying to go back to prison. I ain't trying to stand before no judges, no more judges and be judged according to the law. I ain't trying to go through none of that no more. It's all legal. I just wanted to share that with y'all because, sometimes people go look at something and take it negative and build something off of it. Oh, yeah, he talk about being gay, but he out there selling drugs. He promoting. I ain't selling no drugs at all. You can't even get a Tylenol pill out of me. Anyway, so I want to thank you guys, man, for hanging out with me from part 1, part 2, part 3, and now this is part 4. And this all started when Tia asked that questions about how to witness to people or how to talk to people. What do you tell people, about the people that believes it's okay to be gay? And I believe that it's good for them to watch this because you'll see that God's intentions from the beginning was for that. His intentions from the beginning was for that. It wasn't good that man should be alone, and he knew that man needed a helper, and the helper that God chose was a woman. So the woman was made for the man, and God, like I said, God saw that it wasn't good that a man be alone, so he made him a woman. So, every woman is supposed to have a man, and every man is supposed to have a woman. Now, we may see that, it seems like today, that there's nothing wrong with being gay because it's all over the world. It ain't just the United States, it's all over the world. And it's becoming so popular and it's becoming so normal that we think, that there's nothing wrong with it. And that's the danger in that, because there is something wrong with it. And this is not the first time that ever happened. They say history repeats itself, and that's what we're going through right now. There was a time that it was two cities, and it's the same thing. They was running rampant. Men was with men, women was with women, and they was doing that for a while. It seemed like it was normal, but God got upset. I want to get right into this story. The Bible said that all these things are written for our learning and their examples. That's the reason. That's the importance of reading the Bible. This is true history. This is true history. This is history that is recorded of true events that actually happened, and the reason why God recorded and put it in the Bible because they're examples for us. Whether it's good example or a bad example, we can learn from somebody's mistakes or somebody right decision. We can learn from it. Anyway, we're in Genesis chapter 18. We're going to briefly talk about this. The real story that I want to get to you is in Genesis chapter 19. But we're going to talk about this right here because I wanted to show you God's view on a city that it was two cities called Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm sure you heard these stories before, but then again, maybe you haven't, or maybe you heard a different side of the story. You haven't actually read the story in the Bible for yourself. So that's what we're going to do today. But look right here. It says we're in verse 16. We're in Genesis chapter 18, verse 16. It says, and the men rose up from thence and looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. Now, let me explain this to you. God was viewing this city, right? Sodom and Gomorrah. He was looking at the behavior and the sin that was going on in this particular cities. And God didn't like it. Now, keep in mind, this was after the flood, because I don't know if you ever read from like Genesis of chapter, I think it's chapter 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. It talks about how God was so upset with the world because the world was living in violence. They was killing each other, murdering each other. They was raping each other. There was so much wickedness going on. It just got out of hand. And God was so upset with mankind, it made him sorrowful that he even made man. And he decided that he's about to destroy the world and start all over again. And the only reason why he spared Noah, it's not that he just picked somebody out of the world to start over again. It's because the reason why he spared Noah and his family, because he said that Noah walked with God, Noah was righteous, and Noah was perfect in his eyes. And God told Noah to build an ark, and he wanted him to get a male and female of all the animals and put them on the boat, because he's getting ready to destroy the whole world with water. And that's what he did. The reason why he did that, because God was upset. That is what you call the wrath of God. God was angry with the world because of their wickedness, and God reigned 40 days and 40 nights. But Noah was safe. Him and his family and his kids was safe in the ark, and they stayed in there for 40 days while God reigned upon this earth, and people drowned. This is the real God. I don't know why they don't tell you about this God in the Bible. Just the real God. When he get upset, he reacts. That's what I'm telling y'all before. A lot of times we talk about the love of God, but we don't talk about the wrath of God. You want to learn about the wrath of God? Read Noah. The days of Noah. It ain't about him just saving animals. It's about all the people that died. In that rain. I'm sure they were saying, "Where's God?" But this was God. That's what you call the wrath of God. The Bible says in Romans chapter 1, verse 18, it says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness." So that just show you how God feels about sin. It gets out of hand. God get out of hand. He got to control it. Anyway, so right here, God was upset with these two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah. We're going to see why in a minute. But God was so upset that he sent angels from heaven. And when angels came, they appeared, as men. And they didn't come with the wings and stuff like that. They came in the form of a man. And these two angels came, but they was to go to Sodom and Gomorrah and to go view what's going on in this city, right? So when the angels came, now keep in mind that the cities that they was going to was Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Abraham is in another section. It's walking distance from where they at to Sodom and Gomorrah. Abraham, which is the Abraham we always been hearing about, the father of many nations. Abraham had a nephew over there by the name of Lot. Lot was staying in Sodom because they had separated. And Lot was in Sodom and Abraham was where he was at. So the angels came by because really they was on a mission. But before they go to Sodom and Gomorrah, they stopped by to tell Abraham and his wife that this time next year, Sarah would be pregnant, because they've been waiting for this for years. God told them he was going to do it. So when they stopped by, they came by to let him know that next year, this is a revelation coming from God. This is a message coming from God that your wife, which is up in age at the time, she's probably about, she's like a 90 or something like that. Your wife is going to have a baby this next year around this time. And she did. Because nothing is too hard for the Lord. Nothing is impossible with the Lord. If God say he's going to do something, he's going to do it. So at the same time, while they're telling him that, Abraham noticed that they're looking over there at Sodom. Abraham knows that the look on their face, this ain't good. And they were sent by God. So look what God says. Verse 16. And the men rose up from thence and looked towards Sodom, talking about the angels. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. Verse 17. Look what the Lord said. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? In other words, God is sending these angels because God is about to destroy these cities. That's why he sent them angels. He is about to destroy these cities. So whatever's about to happen in Sodom and Gomorrah, this is God's doing. This is the wrath of God. This is God that's behind what's about to happen. That's why he says, should I hide from Abraham the thing which I do? I'm about to do this. And this ain't no accident. This is just not no explosion. This is not nothing like that. This is the Lord's doing, right? Because God is upset. He's upset with these two cities. And one thing I like about it is, see, that's why it's good to have a relationship with God. Because when you're walking with God, a lot of times before God does things, he's going to reveal it to you. Because he says the secret of the Lord is with them that fear him. So if you fear him, if you respect him, if you're walking with him, if you have a relationship with him, he will speak to you about a certain event that's about to take place, because he don't want you part of that. Amen. Because it's not for you. Anyway, let me read that again. Verse 17, and the Lord says, shall I hide from Abraham the thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him. That's what God is saying. I know him. You know, we talk, me and him talk. He talks to me. I talk back to him. He always fellowship with me. I know him. We got a relationship. For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord. And that's the thing. God wants us to train our children, teach our children, and command our children to obey the Lord. Anyway, I'm going to skip on down for time's sake. Verse 20 says, and the Lord, I suggest that you go ahead and read Genesis, all of chapter 18 and all of chapter 19, because for time's sake, I'm going to be skipping. Verse 20. And the Lord said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom is a city, Gomorrah is a city. They're by each other. He said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous. See, this is why he's sending the angels. It's a thing that he's about to do, which is destroy the city. And the reason why he's going to destroy it is because their sin is very grievous. And we're going to find out what it is that God is calling sin. What particular sin is this that they're doing that God is so upset with that he's getting ready to destroy this city? He sent angels down there to destroy this city. Verse 21, he says, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come up unto me. And if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence and went towards Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Lord. So these two angels that stopped, they hung out with Abraham and his wife for a little bit. They told Abraham the prophecy of his wife this time next year is going to have a baby. And now they're leaving. They're gone. They ain't got time to watch the game with you. They ain't got time to sit around and talk about old times. They ain't got time for nothing. They're on a mission for the Lord. What's the mission? Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? Because their sin is grievous. Verse 23. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? So see, you know how sometimes it's just certain things you just know. It don't need to be explained to you. It's just something in you. You just know. Some people call it a gut feeling. Some things you just knew. Abraham knew that this wasn't good. He could tell the way. He know they were sent from God. And he know that they keep looking at this city. And obviously they probably ain't looking good. They probably got this look on their face. So he know, because these are angels, he know they come from God. And he know how God works. He know that they're about to do something in that city. But he has a nephew over there. And his nephew is named Lot. And Lot is righteous. So that's why Abraham is asking this question, because he's trying to stand in the gap for his nephew. Remember now, they don't have phones back then. They don't have ways of connecting with each other. So it's not like he could pick up the phone and say, hey, Lot, man, they about to come down and you better get out of here. He can't. So he's standing in the gap for his nephew by interceding, by talking or by praying on his behalf to God. He's trying to get God not to destroy that city because his nephew is in that city. That's the importance of prayer. So the question he's asking God, Abraham, he said, and Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Because Abraham knew that that city was wicked. We're going to find out why it was wicked. But Abraham knew that that city was wicked, right? He knew that those angels was going to destroy it. He's asking God, would you destroy the city? Would you destroy the righteous with the wicked? Because in other words, I got a nephew over there. He's righteous. He know you. He's serving you. He believes in you, you know. Verse 24, he says, peradventure there be 50. The word peradventure in the King James Version means like suppose or perhaps. He's begging with God. Now he's bargaining with God. He said, perhaps there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? So this number goes from 50 all the way down to 10, and then God walks away. And the reason why he ended up destroying that city is because he couldn't even find 10 righteous people in that city, because everybody was doing this particular sin that we're going to talk about. So let's go to Genesis chapter 19, verse 1. You see where it says up there at the top, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Verse 1. And there came two angels. These were the two angels that left Abraham. And there came two angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. Lot is Abraham's nephew. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. Lot, that's another one of them incidents. You didn't need nobody to tell you. You just know. Wait a minute. There's just something telling you that these are not your ordinary people. These are men of God. Matter of fact, they were sent from God. Matter of fact, these people were sent from God. They must be angels. It's something in him letting them know that automatically he started bowing down to them and reverencing them as though they're somebody, right? Let's look at verse 2. And he said, this is Lot, behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, no, but we will abide in the street all night. Lot, no. Like anybody else who lives in the neighborhood, you know your hood, you know your area, you know if it's a dangerous spot, and if it is, you know what they're doing. You know if you got killers or if you got rapists or whatever. You know your neighborhood, you live there. So when you see these two strangers that you assume to be men of God that was sent by God, when you see them come in, you don't want them to be out on the street because you know the streets are dangerous. So you want to bring them into your house because you know that this city you live in is not right. There's some wickedness that's going on. So he's telling them to go in. But look what the angel said. They said, no. We want to stay on the street, and we want to stay on the street all night. See, they didn't come to the hood to go hide in somebody's house. They came in the hood because they want to see. They want God to see what they see. They want God to hear what they hear. They want to be able to see what's going on so that they can become witnesses that this city is wicked. This city is doing this. The men in the city or the women of the city, they want to be able, they're like cameras, right? They're like video cameras. They come to record, gather evidence of exactly what's going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. Verse 3. And he pressed upon them greatly. This is Lot. He's trying to stress, don't stay out here in the street. And they turn in unto him and enter into his house. So they end up going into his house. They listen to him. And he made them a feast and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. So, you know, that's hospitable. You know, you have people come into your house. You're supposed to, you know, you fix them something to eat. You know, you let them take a shower. You know, you give them something to drink. You know, you give them a place to stay. That's what he was doing. Okay. Verse 4, he said, but before they lay down, before them angels even got a chance to lay down and take it easy, he said, but before they lay down, the men, look at this, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, around. That word compass means they surrounded the whole house, all around. Look at this, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. Word got out that there's two new faces in the neighborhood. Somebody saw them and went and told somebody, and that somebody told somebody, and that person told somebody, and before you know it, the whole neighborhood is talking about these two men that's new on the block, and they stand at Lot house, and everybody, old and young, came out to Lot's house, and they surrounded the whole house. Now, you might ask yourself a question. Why did men, old and young, come out to see these other two men that came? Why did they surround the house? Are they coming to rob them, to murder them, to kill them? What was the purpose of them surrounding that house? Because they saw two men. We're going to keep reading. Verse 5. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. Now, let me explain this to you. That know is that they're not saying that we want them to come out so we could sit down, they could tell us about their lifestyle, what school they went to, where they grew up, what job they worked at, who their mama and daddy is. No, that ain't the know that they want. This is a sexual no. These men was interested. Remember the word gay? They wanted to romantically get involved with these men in the worst way, right? It says, and they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out to us that we may know them. Look at Lot's response, verse 6. And Lot went out at the door unto them and shut the door after him. It's like he came out and he closed the door. He left them inside, but he came out to them to shut the door because he didn't want them to hear this conversation. He didn't want them in there to know that these dudes in here came here, but they didn't come to talk. They came to do something else. They didn't come to rob you. They didn't come to kill you. They came to do something else. This is why God called this wickedness. Look at this. Verse 7, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. These men came because they wanted to have sex with these other men. And Lot is telling them, don't do this wicked thing that you're about to do, because this act that you're about to do is wicked. You wanted to have a sexual relationship with these men. It's wicked. That's wicked. Look, I pray thee, brethren, do not so wickedly. He was letting them know that this thing that you want to do, man, you want to go in there and you want to have sex with another man. This is wickedly. For a man to want to lay down with another man, like he would do a woman, that's wickedly. For a man to want to have sexual relationship with another man in the eyes of God, that is wickedly. I don't care how the Supreme Court view it. I don't care how Obama view it. And I don't care how the scientists view it. God's view is that it's wickedly. It's wickedly. That's what scripture says. He's telling them, he's instructing them, do not so wickedly. You wanting to go in there and have sex with another man is wickedly. Look at verse 8. He said, behold, now I have two daughters, which have not known man. These are virgins. They never been with a man. I got two daughters, not one, but two. I got two daughters that have not known man, haven't had sex with man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and you do so to them as it is good in your eyes only. Unto these men do nothing. He's saying, look what he's saying. Look what he's saying. He more righteous than me, because I ain't giving up my daughters for nobody. I got two of them. Y'all know about Faith, and I got another one named April. I ain't giving up my two daughters for nobody. Now, but I wanted to stress to you, basically what he's saying is that, okay, you want to do wrong, right? You come in here to have sex with somebody. So if that's what you really want, this is what he's saying. I know what you're doing is wrong, but if you're going to do wrong, at least do it the right way, right? If you got this desire in you, you want to release, don't do it with these men, because that's wickedly. So if you want to do it, if you want to release, I got two daughters. I got two daughters. I'm going to bring them out to you. They never been with a man before in their life. Do to them what seems right to you. Only to these men, do nothing. Don't touch them. Don't have sex with them. Don't try to pursue them. That's wicked. Don't do that. If you're going to do something that's wrong, at least do it the right way. It's like a cigarette, right? It's like you having a cigarette, right? If I see a guy with a cigarette and he's trying to light it, and he lights the tip of it, right? But the part that he lights, he turned it around this way, and he's trying to smoke it. But this is the part you have the butt. You know, in a cigarette you have a butt. That's where you're supposed to put your lips at, and over here is where, and this is where you let it at. So if you're gonna smoke a cigarette, it's wrong. But if you're gonna do it, at least do it the right way. The right way is wrong, but the right way to go about it is to put your mouth on the butt, not on that tobacco part. You don't put your lips on that. You put it on the butt. It's wrong smoking cigarettes. But if you're going to do it, even though it's wrong, do it the right way. And that's basically what he's saying. That's basically what he's telling them. You know, what you want to do by coming over here, you got this passion. You want to be with somebody. You want to be with them so bad. What you're doing is wrong. But if you're going to do it the right way. What's the right way? I've given you these 2 daughters. I'm giving you women. That's the right way for you to be with a woman, not with a man. That's wickedly. That's what he's telling them. Do you understand that? That's what he's telling them. Look, we'll read that again. Verse 8. He said, behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known man. They ain't never been with a man. They have never had a sexual relationship with a man. That's what he's telling them. He said, let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and you do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing. For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. So he's letting them know, if you're gonna sleep with somebody, sleep with these girls, my daughters. Take the women. Don't do that to the men. Because if a man is trying to have a sexual relationship with another man the way he would a woman, that's wickedly. That's wrong. Even Keith Sweat said that there's a right and a wrong way to love somebody. Y'all know that song? Listen, he's basically saying, if a man is trying to have a sexual relationship with another man, that's the wrong way to love somebody. Amen. Verse 9. And they said, look what they telling Lot. After Lot told him, listen, man, this is just to show you how messed up they was. They get mad. They get upset because they want these men. They don't want a woman. They don't want a woman. They want these men, right? Verse 9 says, and they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn. Sojourn means to dwell, to live. This one man, in other words, he came in Sodom, in our city. He's not from here. He wasn't born here. He wasn't raised here. He came to live in our city. That's what they basically saying. This one fellow came to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Look what they saying. This is what they saying amongst each other. Now. This is after Lot tell them that don't do this wicked thing. Let me give you my daughters and you do whatever you want with them. They never been with anybody. They never slept with anybody. These are virgins that I'm presenting to you, and I am telling you, I'm giving you the green light as their father to go ahead and do what you want to do with them. But only these men, touch these women, but don't touch these men. Do what you're going to do to them, but don't do that to the men. That's the wrong way. That's the wrong way to love somebody. If you're going to love somebody, love them this way. Don't love them that way. They got mad. And look what they said. They told him, stand back. In other words, and they at his house. They telling him, move out the way. They going up in his house. So they're telling him to stand back. And then they started talking amongst each other, right? And look what the conversation they said. because these are the things that I hear all the time. A lot of preachers hear, especially street preachers. I even get it on my YouTube channel. They're telling amongst each other, they're saying, this guy just came in our neighborhood to live, and now he's a judge. You know what they're saying? Lot, don't judge us. Don't judge us. Don't tell us what's right and what's wrong. Just stand back, because we want these men so bad. If they're willing to lay with us, fine. But if they're not, we're going to take it. We just want men bad. That's basically what they said. So they said, don't judge us. You know, I mean, you just came in this town, now you're going to judge us. You're going to tell me right from wrong. I don't know why, but people that ain't living right, them the first ones that say that, don't judge us. You know, who are you to judge me? Because people do not want you to tell them right from wrong. If you're smoking and I tell you smoking wrong, you tell me don't judge you. If I tell you that drinking is wrong, you tell me don't judge me. When I go down to Kingston and I tell people about doing drugs, and drugs ain't good for you, it's going to kill you, people dying out here, stuff like that, I get people that hit me on the comment, who are you to tell? Well, how you going down there telling them about religion? And who are you to judge them? You're not supposed to do that. Just give them clothes and give them food and do stuff like that, and that's it. Don't tell them right from wrong. That's basically what you're telling me, and I think that is so stupid, so ignorant for a person to say that, you know. And that's the character of somebody who's doing wrong and don't want nobody to tell them wrong for right. When you hear when a person tell me that, I know you're doing wrong and you don't want nobody to tell you nothing. That's why you scream, don't judge me.